And this is the 2023 NRL National Schoolgirls Cup. The stakes are high. It's a grand final. The winner to take on the New South Wales champion for the national title. Who will represent Queensland? We are about to find out. Queensland Country Bank Stadium, the venue, glorious conditions. The surface looks a picture. And it's going to be Mabel Park to kick off. And we're underway in the 2023 NRL National Schoolgirls Cup. Kirwan. And there is Tudavaki in some good field position early on here. Kirwan, the home side, of course, grand finalist last year in 2022. Looking to go one better in 2023. There's some nice ball playing there. Up to halfway, Kirwan.
Good post-contact metres as well. Busting run there by Dante.
The Daunton it was, the lock. So 40 metres out here, played by Scarborough. Kirwan. And now the 5'8" and Isabella Au. Solid contact in the tackle for Mabel Park there, Eliu. Also there was Vitolo. As they come back to the lock forward with the kick into Daunton. And it's a high kick, bouncing ball, might have been knocked back off Mabel Park. It ends in the safe hands of Sia Asanua.
Yeah, Daunton put up a pretty good kick there. At least it was contested, but a little bit fortunate there, Mabel Park, to get the loose ball. Went backwards as Drury called it. And a good chance here for Mabel Park to show just this is going to be even easier. They're going to get a penalty from inside their own territory, failing to clear the tackled player. And Mabel Park will get out of their own territory the easy way. Great platform to attack from. The number of tries that are scored, particularly in the NRL, off the back of penalties, it often gives that extra roll on, and the good sides can capitalise on it. Let's see what Mabel Park can do.
And a touch finder there from the Mabel Park halfback, Danielle Tudakangahau.
Queensland under 16 player Tudakangahau.
Plenty of rep players in both sides here today. That was Armani Misa, or Missa, the number 11 for Mabel Park, as they're into Kirwan territory now. So first penalty going their way. They look to complete their first full set. The front rower here, Manakonga. Daisy Manakonga, big run from her. Up towards the 30, Mabel Park. Walker, as we mentioned, coming back from 26-0 down in their preliminary final last week, and another penalty here to the visitors.
Yeah, I think it was for offside at marker, but they certainly asked a few questions there, Mabel Park. They took them on straight up the middle, and there were plenty of tacklers in each tackle, so they're not getting an easy passage. See what they can do from here, from close to the try line, Mabel Park.
Daisy Manakonga putting a hand up early for some work. Only 12 away here, Mabel Park. Delilah Eliu. Did the ball come loose there? No, she hung on to it. And only a couple of metres out as the hooker has a go herself, Vitolo. Driven back by Daunton and forcing the error, Kirwan, with some very strong goal line defence.
Vitolo thought she was in then, I think, but instead of going low, just got caught upright, and the defence then was, oh, that's a dangerous tackle. Fortunately, no drive in the tackle, but it was upending. The referee call time and have a bit of a chat to the defenders. I think it'll be nothing more than a warning. Sometimes the two tacklers in one tackle, you can have a combination of forces that create the tipping action. So it's on report, and I think rightly so. It's just as important, if not more so, with kids footy.
I'll have another look at this, and a player there, Sani Eriksson, and didn't look pretty, David, as you mentioned, on report, the Mabel Park player.
As I say, there's a good effort to knock it back in field, so there's a just in touch. I'd say the foot was just on the touch line. At the moment, it was attempted to be taken.
Tremendous effort from Asamoah.
Yeah, good effort, but it didn't pay dividends, so good chance now for Kirwan to work their way upfield after defending their try line very well.
Yeah, Monique Maniot, one of those players returning from last year's grand final. To Daunton, the ball playing lock. just distributes on there for Tudavake. The Daunton, a rep player herself. They're now into Mabel Park territories. They look just to find their mojo here, Kirwan. Had to withstand some early pressure from Mabel Park and a couple of penalties, but now they're away. Got their own first penalty, and De Daunton now on to Lara Pata as they continue to move it towards the grandstand here at Queensland Country Bank Stadium. Played by Erickson. Good to see she's okay. Straightening run here from Jonte Mara. And Mara almost up to the 20. Last play here for Kirwan as De Daunton goes high. It's a little deep. And taken in goal, was it? No, yes, it was. So out to the 20 for a 7-tackle set.
Yeah, just got the foot down in the in-goal area, which means you can come back to that 20-metre line. That makes a huge difference for a 7-tackle set. They're not as big a side, Mabel Park, but they certainly don't mind going forward. Here's another good charge. I like their pattern of play. They've got good advantage line footy. You thought of one thing the Warriors have done well this year, and so well. They've got the best. There it is, advantage line footy. And what I mean is that ball runner is taking the ball almost on the advantage line where you're going to come up and over that line. Here they go again. Leaves the defence back.
Picking out defenders on the back foot, righty.
And it makes life easy for the ball runner and more difficult for the defenders. Let's see if they can capitalise.
Well, Park, this is an impressive set. As they shift on and now back on the angle there. Sia Asamoah, she's one to watch, the number 2 for Mabel Park. Short side play here. Lovely to the line. They've got the overlap. Going herself there is Tavita. She won't need support. Kailani Tavita, will she? No, she's held up.
Great defence there in the end. Desperation, as we mentioned last week. The number of times defenders now have got that technique to hold up a ball carrier over the try line. And good work there by the fullback coming across Malupo to make sure she just turned her at that last moment. Crossfield kick.
On the last play there was the kick from Tatakanga Howe, and they get it on swiftly here to Sia Ioane for the corner. Kiara Sia Ioane and Mabel Park with the dream start here in the grand final. They've got the first try.
Well, I don't think that kick was intended to go there. It actually may have gone backwards off the boot, but it put the defence in all sorts of trouble because they were threadbare out there, taken comfortably, and then Siana Ioane, here's the initial play. This was the hold-up tackle. It looked like Tavita, the left centre, was going to score. The crossfield kick here, just on the 20-metre line. Crossfield barely going forward, and then nice work by the number 5 in Funga Opu. And she gets the ball out wide. It had to be. It's interesting here. You've got to judge what's going on around you. She had it back to the defenders, but knew the opportunity was on the outside there for Sia Ioane. And she goes across almost untouched from a crossfield kick. So again, Drew, we've spoken many times this year through the school footy and also about NRL kick tries to actually kick. Crossfield kick and capitalise, and that was so well done.
I believe it's 7. The conversion attempt, it's kept low and just across the face there. So the score remains 4 points to 0. Mabel Park strike first here at Queensland Country Bank Stadium.
Capitalise, even though they didn't score the try. The crossfield kick really stretches the defence. They had a fairly condensed line, only one defender on the outside there, which was going to be very difficult for Noah. And she got stranded out there. There was 2 on 1. And good work then by Fungapo to realise the looping action of Sia Ioane was going to create even more opportunities. So they've got their first points, 4 points to 0 after 8 minutes.
So to Daunton with the restart, 4-0, that conversion miss from the halfback to Takanga Howe, but she also credited with the try assist there with that crossfield kick. Finished off by Kiara Sia Ioane, and they've forced an error here, Kirwan. They are pumped up. Have a look at Hannah De Daunton. She's one of those returning players from last year's grand final, right? And you can see how much a win today would mean to a lot of these Kirwan players.
Yeah, they got beat last year by Marsden comfortably at the end. But they're not going to surrender easily today. They've got the first try against them. but there's a long way to go in this match. And as you say, Drury, a lot of feeling. They realise the importance not only to win the state final, but the potential to go to the national final.
Not a huge crowd here, as you can understand, but gee, they're making a lot of noise.
Yeah, always vocal, and they're getting the full support by Kirwan, the locals. So let's see if they can capitalise on that support.
Talara Parter, and the shift is on. Here's Malupo, the fullback for Kirwan. Anasini Malupo. Now a straightening run, Lila Williamson. Kirwan looking to respond. Can they? That is the question. Working it through Isabella Au, and the ball's come loose. Mabel Park footy.
Good rushing defence there by Mabel Park to force the error. The ball carrier thought she had a little bit more time to show the football, but instead Mabel Park rushed up in defence. I've liked the way they've gone forward in attack and come forward in defence. Cut down time, makes it more difficult.
Brilliant run there from Harlan Walker, just getting rid of defender. Scarborough's still down. And prior to that, Sewer with a big run. This time, another big run. And this is Misa as they come back towards the middle. Just keep your eyes on the Mabel Park 5'8". Malayela Sewer, she is a ball-running 5'8" and can break the line. 20 metres out now.
Aussie Schoolgirl as well. Dummy kick. So that she get a hands free. Yes.
Gets it away, and here is Sewer. He'll just straighten ball in two hands and back herself. Malayela Sewer.
4 defenders was needed. Well done.
Play the ball only a metre out, and from dummy half going herself there, Lily Vaitolo. It was worth a crack, held up, but just keeping the defence honest there, Mabel Park.
He went low and hard, but the defence was also low as well. That's what you've got to do. And well done there by Kirwan, realising they're under a lot of threat. Perhaps that second burst right there, all very well to be smart after the event, but a lot of tacklers already condensed in and around that play the ball. The opportunity, I think, was wider. This is young Scarborough, and I think she may have got injured in an earlier tackle. She was the one who was down, hobbling a little bit on that right leg. Hopefully she'll be able to work that out. Well done by Kirwan. They're under a lot of pressure. Mabel Park are really playing, as I said before, advantage line footy. They do come up and over that advantage line. Kirwan, you've got to move up in defence to contest that. Otherwise, they'll pick up an easy 50, 60 metres on each set of 6.
So 10 away, Monique Maniot. There she is. Kirwan have to get back in the grind now. Mabel Park have looked good, haven't they, when they've had the footy? And let's see what Kirwan come up with here, David, because they'll have to be patient. They're coming away from deep in their own territory, and I suspect Coach Hannah Norfolk might just want to see some completed sets, get to your kick, and just build some pressure.
Yeah, well, they're going to find it difficult though, because Mabel Park, they're playing good advantage line footy with them without the ball. This is going to be possible to them, a little bit of over vigour in the tackle. Give a chance for Kirwan to get out of their own territory, which they've been finding it somewhat difficult to do. Makes life a lot. Well,
take a tap here, and
it's interesting. So that
Kirwan
defence
now.
has been good.
Mabel Park are on for this one, and Isabella Au, it was the 5'8". Here's Maniot again. In fact, that was Jonte Mara up to the 40. Still going, Mara. Almost up to halfway. Applause from the crowd. Eventually tackled by Charlene Vaili from Mabel Park. A metre short of halfway. Out to Erickson now, who dishes off to Mata.
And again, hassling defence.
Yeah, the ball just not up to standard. I was about to say, so important Kirwan can complete a set here. They're just not completing their sets at this point in time. And Mabel Park have looked so dangerous with possession, they'll start this set around the halfway mark, David. Yeah,
they're putting pressure on when they've got the footy, and without, their defence has been strong. Wasn't the tidiest play the ball, but referee not happy with it. He's the one that counts. Parter couldn't handle it, but she knew the penalty was coming, or the lost ball. This will be a chance for Mabel Park again. I'll be interested to see how they, let's see if they've got a set play from the scrum to get over the advantage line as well. Ad line footy it can make life a lot easier for you.
Malayela Sua to feed the scrum. It's taken from the scrum by Kailani Tavita and Mabel Park now. A little bit of open pastures and an overlap. Waka Ryan eventually gets it away to the try scorer and Sioane with support in Fangupu. Back on the inside, Fangupu.
Set piece from the base of the scrum created that opportunity. Well done, Mabel Park. Can you capitalise now? They've created the chink.
Sewer at the line. Oh, that was room service if ever you've seen it. Villy back to Sewer, give and go. She started it and she finishes it off underneath the posts. Malayela Sewer.
Well, if you like your rugby league, you could not enjoy that anymore. That last 30 seconds from the base of the scrum was a little set piece. There was a bit of a loop around to create extras on the far side. Have a look at it here as they go out on the outside. The fullback just loops around, having passed it once a whacker in, and then good work on the outside. Some good handling as well. Each pass didn't go cleanly to hand. Back on the inside, and then this beautiful bust up the middle by Vili, and then support by Sewer. That's as good a rugby league try as you could imagine. There's Sewer putting the gap on, giving it to Vili, and then Sewer backing up again. That's good football. Sometimes people look at the girls' game and they're not potentially as impressed. But if you weren't impressed with that, you're not into your rugby league. That was a really good, and it was built around two sets of play the balls, and they've gone 60 metres, Mabel Park, with some terrific play and some good backup.
So Naslin Waka Ryan with the conversion directly in front. Mabel Park 10, leading Kirwan yet to score here in the grand final.
Yeah, here it is again. This is the finish of it. Beautiful gap running there by Vili, and then backing up again off her own short pass was Mala Sewer, Australian schoolgirl, Queensland vice-captain, signed with the Titans, and she's the school team captain as well. So very handy player is Sewer, and she just showed why. But that was a good team try, Drury, when you think of the build-up in that back line. Little set pieces, a bit of practice gone into that, and Coach Chase Carey would be very happy. It's interesting.
That's gone 10, righty. That's play on.
Could be trouble.
They will get a result here, Kirwan.
Yeah, good work from Kirwan to come in and keep the pressure going. But Chase Carey's coaching this side. It's his first time at the top level. But interestingly enough, he's been involved in the last 5 years with this cohort. These same girls have come through right from grade 8. There's the punishing defence by Kirwan. So they're not going to accept this score line. That's a very important turning point there. They're down by 10 points to 0, and they really haven't had a look down this end of the park. Let's see what they can do when they get a bit of attack ball.
It's Jakaya Lee Collette, the right edge, second row forward for Kirwan. Kirwan Grizzlies, based out of Townsville, taking on Mabel Park from Brisbane. And Kirwan still looking for their first points. De Daunton takes it to the line this time. Little offload away as they lose some ground. Well read there by Kiara Sioane. She's having a brilliant start to this game. And now the number 17 is on, Mariah Tapau-Taylor. Scarborough, good to see her back and running again. A little mishap earlier in this one, but moving freely once again now. De Daunton a dummy half, Kirwan. And there's the kick from dummy half, 25 metres out, easily taken in the in-goal area. And that's Sia Asamoah, who has not missed a beat, righty on the wing there. She's read everything well that's come her way so far today.
Yeah, she's done well, and so have a lot of her teammates as well. I've been very impressed with the way, apart from the fact they've got 10 points to 0 up on the scoreboard, I've been very impressed by the way they played it. They're using their back five, and that's Fungapo bringing the ball up there. It's going to be a replay of the ball moving off the mark. But they're up against a slightly bigger side, but they're not fazed by that at all because of the way they're playing, and that's taking on the advantage line.
Gee, Athena Villi threatening to break the line again. And now, can she get through here via Tolo? Just held up. That was an important defensive play from Jakaya Lee Collette on the back foot.
Sorry, Drew, lucky the markers weren't caught offside.
And inside now to Waka Ryan from Mabel Park. The Daunton strong. One-on-one tackle. Lily Viatolo now, and Sua. This is danger time for Kirwan. Quick hands, and then that was on there to Fangupo for the corner. Came from Sioane and Nicolina Fangupo. Everything they're touching is turning to gold here this afternoon, Mabel Park. 14-0 kick to come.
Beautiful work by Mabel Park. This is good teamwork. They're really linking some passes together. There's Sua again. She's at the start of it. Puts the pass up then to Sia Ioane, who knew there was support on the outside. Fight it straight out there to Fangapo. Here it is again. You can see it go to the line and commit defenders. Didn't put Sia Ioane in a gap, but that beautiful overhead pass found the winger unmarked in Fangapo. And, well, Kirwan are finding it very difficult to combat two things. One, the go-forward play that's setting a platform for them to move it around. And there's been some good back-line tries off the back of some good forward play. Some good work there from Mabel Park. Conversion. Every point will count. I think Kirwan will still get their chances. But, very strong association with the Roosters as Mabel Park with the boys and the girls, and they greatly acknowledge the importance of that linkage.
So Naslin Waka-Ryan, and she went close. It was accurate. It was online. Just short distance-wise, so 14 points to 0. Mabel Park lead Kirwan. Another look at this try. Scored by the winger Nicolina Fangupo. Some wonderful work from Sua. Quick thinking from Sia Ioane. What a game she's having. And Fangupo finishing it off.
Yeah, well done. The defence was in trouble, but you've still got to exploit the opportunities. And each player did well. Sua initially to take it to the line. She's was heavily involved and ultimately then scored the second try. She sets up that one with the assistance of Sia Ioane, and they've done very well to put 3 tries on. I've been very, very impressed with their style of play. The coach just would have to be extremely happy. I don't think Kirwan are out of this by any means. They are a bigger side, and they haven't had a lot of possession, but they've tended to squander a little bit of ball. They're going to need to go up a gear. They are standing back in defence as well. They need to go up a gear, Kirwan.
I've been very impressed with the back row of Mabel Park in particular. Vili and Misa. Also, the lock forward, Harlan Walker's been strong. And they're executing very nicely at the moment. There's Sua. She's having a great game too. Towards this broadcast side, and the player coming back in the angle. I don't think Waka-Ryan had that plan, but managed to hold on to the football. There was Michaela Howarth. And now the kick from Tuta Kangahau. It's a tricky one. They've knocked on Kirwan. They get 6 more. Sua could go all the way from here. Oh, she wheeled like Moses, parting the sea. Malayela Sua, specialising in anything that can't be done.
Well, good players turn up in the right place at the right time. Sua, the kick was, well, it was a sound kick, but probably should have been taken. But you just never know when a loose ball's going to come. So just follow the ball. As Johnny Lang used to say, coached Cronulla to a premiership, just go there just in case. And that's exactly what Sua did. And then she had the confidence and the skill to continue on. The crossfield kick by the number 7 in Tuta Kangahau. And then the loose ball, Sua trailing through. A little dummy, away she goes. She's a good player. You can see why she's in the Australian schoolgirl side. Johnny Lang, premiership with Penrith. He coached at Cronulla as well, but he won that great premiership at Penrith. Played a bit of footy, a lot of footy with Langy back in the day.
We'll get to your career, Roddy. I haven't forgotten. Here's Naslin Waka-Ryan to extend the lead. This one slightly easier, and distance not a problem. It's just across the face to the left. So 18 points to 0. That's 4 tries in this first half already to Mabel Park. You're watching the 2023 NRL National Schoolgirls Cup Grand Final. You can just see the error there, opening the door for Sua. a little dummy, and she did the rest. Drury Forbes alongside David Wright in the commentary box, of course, Challenge Cup winner with Warrington, and played for Australia, and actually captain Wayne Bennett at Brothers, I believe. Righty, of course, was a Brothers legend. Captain the great man Wayne Bennett. Not many people can say they ruled the roost when Wayne Bennett was around, Righty, but you certainly did.
I don't know whether I ruled the roost with him, Drury. I often consulted with Benny because he was a very much a student of the game even in those days. He loved to coach, and he retired somewhat early and just got straight into coaching. It was always going to be his life.
And Mabel Park, and De Daunton ends up with it, and it should be. What's the referee going to signal here? We've got a penalty, do we? Okay, penalty to Mabel Park.
When you're 7.
We've still got a clock time of 22 minutes, a 25-minute half, so maybe the hooter has gone off prematurely.
Wasn't the Phantom Siren, was it? He made his way to Townsville.
Might have been someone from Kirwan.
And here's a chance here. Sia Ioane. And that will be half-time as signalled by referee Nick Boyer. What a performance by Mabel Park in this opening half. So Kirwan will be kicking off. They're trailing 18-0, of course, looking to go one better. They've got a mountain to climb. They were finalists last year. Can they haul in an 18-point deficit? And De Daunton gets us underway for the second half. Kirwan kicking. It's a nice little kick-off, finding open pastures as Sewer gets to it first. And then the inside pass there to Manakonga. And we've already got a penalty going to Mabel Park here.
Yeah, slightly high that one, so a chance now for Mabel Park to go straight back on the attack. Let's see if they are contested in terms of their advantage line running. And the only way you're going to do it is Kirwan to move up themselves. You've got to be running up just as fast as the attackers. Otherwise, tackling is very difficult. You'll concede territory every time. Slow-moving line of defence. Once they get in there, they can hit hard, but you've got to be able to move up in defence. Otherwise, the attackers are going to have the advantage on most occasions.
Early statement there from Williamson in the tackle from Kirwan. And now Mabel Park. That's Harlan Walker. And Fina Villi, what a first half she had. Played a hand in the second Sewer try, linking up with her 5'8". And here is Sewer on cue. Cut out ball there to a half-back as they go via Waka Ryan. Nice face ball out in the wing there is Howarth. Michaela Howarth, strong one-on-one tackle. 15 on 15. That was Talia Kelly from Kirwan. And now a short side run from O'Connor Cox. Some fresh legs on for Mabel Park. Tudakanga Howe, and then eventually the little kick over. It's a tricky bounce here for Kirwan. Not the bounce they wanted. They're under immense pressure. The fullback there, and Anasiini Malupo, and unable to bring it into the field of play. Kirwan with the line dropout coming up.
Yeah, neat kick here by Tudakanga Howe. The crossfield kick into a bit of space, but I think there was enough players around there to chase hard. Probably the fullback's ball, I think. Malupo, she was cut down eventually, so they're under pressure again. Here come Mabel Park.
Well, they might have gone short there with the dropout. They've gone long. Now Marnie Missa. Second row forward. Tudakanga Howe, she'll go herself here. The defence just sitting back. And she almost scored the halfback.
Not a lot of her, but she certainly can get her way to the try line. Just couldn't get it down. A little bit of a dummy step up the middle. The defence just good enough in the end.
Well, there was no line speed, David.
That's been their problem for most of the match, and it'll make you vulnerable. Ref not happy with the play of the ball. We'll go again. Yeah, they look dangerous every time they run the ball. Mabel Park.
So Mabel Park will be 10 out here, 11 in from the outer side. Tackles in hand.
And we've got a replacement underway. That's why we've got a bit of a delay, or maybe an injured player. Replacement.
It's Jonte Mara. Kirwan. Good to see the touchy with his hat on. protecting himself from the sun.
It's hot up here, Drury. Up in the deep north, the beautiful North Queensland.
As Daisy Manakonga, 2 metres out from their opponent's try line here. Mabel Park. Sewer on the inside. Naslin, Waka Ryan to rub salt into the wounds of the Kirwan players that scored first in the second half, Mabel Park. And they pick up right where they left off. And Naslin Waka Ryan, beautiful angle with her run. And she scores underneath the posts.
Well done here by Mabel Park. Sewer again, the architect of it all. A little pass back on the inside, straight up the middle, Waka Ryan. What I've been impressed with Mabel Park, they're not as big a side as Kirwan, but they use their strength. You don't fight fire with fire necessarily. Sometimes water's the way to fight, and that's exactly, they have played to their strengths. I've been very impressed with their ball handling, their agility. They haven't tried to in any way out-muscle Kirwan because they'd be beaten in that game, but they convert that one as well. Very impressive, nice little step back on the inside, and a good try there by Waka Ryan.
Yeah, this time it's Sewer with the conversion. 24 points to 0. Mabel Park lead Kirwan. And the reaction there from De Daunton in that shot says it all, really. Kirwan. I know they don't want to hit the panic button, righty, but surely they've got to go short here and try and just get some possession from this kickoff, Kirwan.
Yeah, well,
it is a final. They've got to come up with points and come up with them fast.
Yeah, you've got to dominate possession to do it. Yes, if you can get it from this kick, do it. But then you're going to have to dominate the possession for the next 20 minutes. About a medium kick, that one, and Mabel Park will again capitalise, I think, on their really good ruck play. The platform has been set by the way they get up over that advantage line, the defence holding back. Kirwan will learn a lesson, I think, from what's happened thus far in the game. You must move up in defence. And Mabel Park have exploited it beautifully. The coach, Chase Carey, would be very happy with the way they played.
Yeah, they just can't get their hands on the ball, Kirwan, can they? Waka Ryan, and well taken there as they go from Howarth onto O'Connor Cox, Mabel Park.
You can see too, they set that platform with some good ruck runs straight up the middle, but then they're very keen to spin it out wide and every now and then put it back down the middle. They've got good variety.
There's Howarth again. And just feeds her halfback. Little delicate kick over the top. Read well. The Tuta Kangahau kick there from De Daunton, and Kirwan finally have possession. Here's the fullback, Anasiini Malupo.
Let's see if they can get their way up the park and get a bit of attack ball. They've had little ball and little attack ball. This will help them. Not clearing the ruck by the defender. So Kirwan are going to just take it straight at them.
Williamson, big run, and the crowd just starting to find their voice here off the back of that run.
Haven't been phased by the stronger forwards. They've got in there and put numbers in the tackle. Back-to-back penalties. This will help Kirwan get back down the attack end.
Scarborough looks to tap and go, and here they go again. Jonte Mara. And into Mabel Park territory. The offload might have been on there too. Eventually tackled Mara. Hard to handle for the Mabel Park defenders. Scarborough finding Erickson. And 40 metres out. 4 tackles up their sleeve. Can they get a result or even a repeat set here, Kirwan? There's the halfback Lara Parta through the hands. Out to Malupo. Scarborough directing traffic, wants a penalty, and now takes off herself. Some fancy footwork from Scarborough, beat one. Inside the 20 here, can they get a quick play the ball? There's Parta. There's Parta now, finds Isabella out. Kirwan starting to find their confidence. Lucky not to give away a penalty there, Mabel Park to Daunton. Little kick there, close to the line. And the line dropout conceded by Delilah Eliu. But that's better from Kirwan in front of their home fans here at Queensland Country Bank Stadium.
Yeah, off the back of 2 penalties, got them up into this position. Little grubber kick through.
Was it the right play, Roddy?
I'm not so sure. There was a lot of players in front, even though Dave Daunton was taken down. I think she just ran into a defender. There wasn't an obstruction play.
Yeah, they had Tudavaki. She had Tudavaki, the number 11. Just maybe the pass out of Tudavaki and she might have scored.
Yeah,
you certainly want to back your teammate that close to the line.
Yeah, well, they've had few opportunities. That was one of them. Here's another go.
Kirwan. The young lady we just spoke about. Marianne Tudavaki. Now to Daunton. Inside to a rampaging Lila Williamson. Scarborough to Parter. And Isabella Yao put on her back. Mabel Park defending their line. Scarborough to Daunton. This time she goes to a back rower, to Tudavaki. A metre away here, Kirwan. Can they register their first points and get back in this game? Isabella out. A little bit of indecision. Comes back the other way. Half a metre out now. Little Ginger to play that one. And now to Daunton at speed. She didn't handle. She's knocked on. And it all comes unstuck for Kirwan.
I couldn't be more impressed with the way Mabel Park have played. They had their backs to the wall there. They haven't had them to the wall very often, but their defensive line has been excellent. Not handled well there at all by Dave Daunton. But the defence leading up to that by Mabel Park was very good. They are very well organised in both attack and defence. I've been just very impressed with their overall style of play, the standard they played at. And I read with interest, Drury, how they spent a lot of time on culture and building the right culture there at Mabel Park, and that's about resilience. So say that last week they were down 26-0 at half-time and came back and won at 28-6. So they've got some steel in their side as well. 28-26, yes. So they've certainly got some steel in that side, but they've got plenty of variety as well.
Yeah, what a comeback. And look how they're performing today off the back of that. Tuda Kanga Howe, she's been a real leader in this grand final for Mabel Park, the number 7. And there's Eliu, Delilah Eliu now. Big metres. So 35 metres out here, Mabel Park from the Kirwan try line. They lead 24-0. Here comes the kick. Taken at the back by the Kirwan number 2 in Shelley Noah, but swiftly and promptly claimed by Sia Asamoah. The 2 number 2s doing battle. Here's Malupo. Kirwan. Mosby Nonna. Zalia Mosby Nonna. And she plays it just shy of the 30-metre line, so the wingers coming in for some tough carries. This time it's Sienna Tabachi.
I can't really remember the line being broken cleanly. Their defence has just been super sound.
Oh,
there's more of it.
Strong shot there by Mabel Parks, Delilah Eliu, and it spilt the ball, and she's got the ball for a team with some outstanding defence.
Terrific effort by Eliu, and good work then to take it forward.
Sewer gets it away now. Waka Ryan. And now Mabel Park. Kingston Francis. Talia Kingston Francis. In fact, that was Colette eventually. And now Kingston Francis. Back here, Mabel Park, Villy. And shrugging away was Walker. Harlan Walker with sheer strength, proving unstoppable. And Walker has Mabel Park's 6th try this afternoon.
Very impressive performance here by Mabel Park, and again that try sums it up. They were prepared very close to the line to pop a couple of passes. Here's the defensive hit. What a good one this was to force the error. And this is the stand in the tackle. Nice work there by Villy. She keeps it alive. and then they also put it through the hands, and good work then by Walker. Everyone was intent on putting the ball to a person in a better position. Sometimes people get white line fever in that regard, but there was about 4 passes just linked beautifully together there by Mabel Park to finally put Walker in a little bit of space. She still had to do a bit of work herself, but I have been extremely impressed with the style of play by Mabel Park.
Conversion successful from Sewer. Gee, she's got the easy ones today. She's getting the ones right in front. And that's now 30 points to 0. Wonderful lead-up play too. We saw Kingston Francis involved. She was tackled there at one stage by Colette from Kirwan, but Kingston Francis with some valuable touches, and you can see here the way that they just worked it back towards the centre. Asamoah also involved Sewer onto Walker, and that second Kirwan defender just unable to come in and assist there in Ericsson it was, and Harlem Walker just shrugging away there from Parter. And she's another one. We spoke about the back row in Misa, Villi, and also Walker at lock, and they have been a real shining light for Mabel Park in this grand final.
They've done their job, and they've been given a few opportunities to show their wares, and they've exploited those. So they've all played well. It's been a very, very good team effort, and the coach would have to be extremely happy. Obviously, the scoreboard would suggest that, but I've been so impressed with the way they played. Here's another penalty coming to Mabel Park as Kirwan try and slow things down a bit. They've been facing a bit of a tsunami in a lot of ways. I've been really impressed with the style of play by Mabel Park. They've picked up territory from these early rucks, and then that's set the platform for them to throw it around. They haven't been afraid to move it on the outsides either. There's been 3 and 4 passes on many occasions out to the flanks.
So 30 points to 0. Mabel Park lead Kirwan. And Kirwan just can't get their hands on the football. Side ball there, is that... looks like that was the number 11 there. And now taking a run herself is Vitolo. It was Misa on the earlier play. Now Vitola takes off. Tudakangahau might go herself. Gets the pass away. Mabel Park. And now Howarth, Michaela Howarth. She's certainly made her presence felt in this second half since making her way onto the field. Decoy run there from Misa as they go. Out the back, shift is on. Long pass from Villi. And Kingston Francis was there in waiting and just couldn't take the pass. Otherwise, they were in again, Mabel Park.
Yeah, there's a few errors they've had against them in this particular game, Mabel Park. But again, they're keen to move the ball. They're a little bit flat here in attack, and that put pressure on them. The long pass on the outside there couldn't be taken by Kingston Francis. That's one of the few chances that have gone begging. They have been extremely impressive. 6 tries, and there's been a lot of creative football that's produced those tries.
And Asani Malupo. It's Jakai Lee Collette for Kirwan.
They always get a lot of players in their tackles too, which again is a good sign of their defensive patterns.
Maria Tapau Taylor as the forwards inject themselves here for Kirwan, trying to bring it out from their own territory. Now this time Talia Kelly, and she got to the kick. Coming through is DeDaunton here, couldn't get the clean pickup. Good pressure on Asamoah. And now here's Waka Ryan. She's another player that's been so impressive today. Naslin Waka Ryan, the fullback, has scored a try already. And again, David, this territory. Look where Mabel Park are starting their set of 6.
Yeah, they're prepared to move it straight away as well. They like the outside edges.
Hasn't she been phenomenal? Kiara Siyawane scored the opener. Gee, she looks just dazzling in full flight. And now Fangupo, who's also scored today. Mabel Park, they've got Kirwan under siege, and the halfback's going to go all the way in Danielle Tudakangahau. It's all too easy at the moment for Mabel Park. That's the icing on the cake, and the halfback adds another 4-pointer.
There's not a lot of Danielle Tudakangahau, but she just took the line on. There was chances to move it, but she decided the gaps were there. She did well. Stopped short initially, but then surged forward for a small player. That's a very good effort. little bit of a step to go back on the outside. I think that bamboozled the defenders. But when you look at what's happened prior to that and for the whole game, Drury, they have really put Kirwan on the back foot, and that allows the good ball runners and ball players to exploit. And they've done it. I could not be more impressed with the way they played. Okay, they've got 30 points, but they've done it well. And when I say that is that they've initially, and I mentioned the advantage line footy, set the platform, they've moved it around, they have a creative play, they've scored just about every type of try you could imagine. I've been very impressed.
So how about this, Righty? Waka Ryan's got this attempt again. Sua's just getting the ones directly in front. Anything else and someone else has to take it. Here's Waka Ryan.
Is she the captain? Is she the captain?
She hits the post, Waka Ryan. What a game she's had, the fullback. There she is on screen, Naslin Waka Ryan. Conversion unsuccessful, but 34 points to nil. It is all Mabel Park.
Yeah, the options were there, and the halfback decided the running option was it. I like the running step-out play. Too many players run out and step in, and normally step into trouble, but she had that slight deviation of her inside foot, the left foot, and that gave her a little bit of room to avoid a heavy tackle and then go on and score it as well. I'm very impressed by what they've done, Mabel Park.
Go long Kirwan, and that's knocked back from Mabel Park. That was Athena Villi. And cleaning it up is their star performer, Malaela Sua, and she scored a double today. Sua. Malaela Sua. Titans contracted. There's the offload from Villi.
Pulling out their tricks now. They've got the defence scattered.
Kirwan just doing so much defence, aren't they, in these warm conditions? Middle of the day, of course.
And Mabel Park's probably had 70% of the ball and 70% territory.
And here's Villi again. Athena Villi, still going Villi. They're lining up to the left here, Mabel Park. Oh, Villi's cramped up. Gee, that's a let-off for Kirwan.
Not a time to get a cramp, and of course you've got no control over it, but it probably just shows you the effort that's been put in by these girls. Villi has been dynamic on that right edge, and the heat up here will certainly cause you circulation problems, loss of some dehydration, and see if they can capitalise again as they've done all day. They got into attack and finished off.
Waka Ryan, oh, beautiful pass. Fangupo. Nicolina Fangupo. Sheer class from Mabel Park. They've got speed, they've got skill, and they are executing to perfection on the biggest stage in the grand final of the NRL National Schoolgirls Cup.
Yeah, Kirwan are exhausted, I think. They're now really struggling to get back in defence, and again, the Mabel Park girls are showing their wares. They know where the opportunities are and they can get them there. Good pass here by Waka Ryan through the halfback initially, and then Waka Ryan, that high ball over the top. They're not easy to throw, and then Fungapo gets across in the corner, almost untouched. But this has been a masterclass by Mabel Park. They've worn Kirwan down, and now they're really showing how good they are all over the park.
And in the end, it didn't matter how slow that play the ball was.
No.
It took over a minute, and they still went to the left, and they still scored.
Yeah, the defence was short on that side. By the time you're defending on your try line like that, you really need a good spread. The defence is often condensed when you're down the other end of the park to try and stop the go forward, but no reason to be that far in there.
Gee, Tuta Kangahau, she's been given another shot here. He's getting them all from the sideline. Again, Sua gets out of this one. It goes back with the halfback. She's getting the tough assignments here. Let's see if Tuta Kangahau can convert. Meter in from touch, 21 out. It was a tough one. And she's picked out Kirwan players. There you go. It doesn't matter. 38 points to nil. Mabel Park over Kirwan.
She's shaking her head. She's not happy, obviously, with the strike, but the legs aren't really power legs. She'll do a little bit of strength and conditioning as the years go on. Beautiful pass on the outside. So I say those are over-the-head passes that Waka Ryan. they're not always that easy. You're on the move yourself. You've got to put it onto a moving player. Well done there by Waka Ryan.
Oh, beautiful pass, wasn't it?
Perfect.
That was in the breadbasket.
Yeah.
That is an out-and-out try assist.
And Drury, as we know, they're not easy because it's all in the timing. A short pass, the direct one like that one there, well, you get 99 out of 100 right. But the one over the top, avoiding a defender and hitting a runner on the chest is just good footy. And they'll be disappointed with that error. But they haven't made many errors either. This has been close to, I don't want to get too carried away, close to copybook stuff. It looks at this stage they'll go on to represent Queensland down there in the national final in a couple of weeks' time. And they'll, if they play like this, and that's an if, you've got to take it to the big stage. If you play like this, they'll rattle the cage. I'm sure their potential opponents, and I think Erindale is playing Hill Sports High to decide who's the best teams in New South Wales.
Erindale College from out of the ACT, righty.
Well, that's Ricky Stewart country, mate. So
the great Royston Lightning, I believe Todd Payton played there as well, the Cowboys coach.
Okay, well, a bit of tradition there. So it'll be a good game in a couple of weeks' time as well. And I'd say that Mabel Park will represent Queensland very well, given this particular performance.
Jakai Lee Collette. Scarborough now goes herself. And Kirwan come up with some points to Daunton. Hannah de Daunton. Got the quick play, the ball. Kirwan for their first points of the day. Isabella Howe crosses the white stripe and Kirwan are over.
Well, finally Kirwan, and they'll be so relieved. It's nice to get rid of that
Or
ducking.
are they over, Righty? Are they over? I think Mabel Park have done the impossible here and held out a rampaging Isabella Howe.
Well, they've kept their almost perfect game intact, Mabel Park, to be able to withstand that. Run out of dummy half there by Howe. Looked like she was going to score for all money, but good desperation. And that's been another, I mean, every
was that Kingston Francis, Righty? What a great piece of defence.
Yeah, desperation, and that's what they've done across the whole match.
And there is the full-time siren fitting that Harlem Walker finishes with the football. She's been one of Mabel Park's best. There's been plenty of high performers today for Mabel Park. They put on some Champagne Rugby League. They executed to perfection. It was a flawless performance. And Mabel Park are the 2023 NRL National Schoolgirls Cup champions.
Firstly, to our girls, we trained pretty hard for that. All credit to everyone's efforts today from our day. Our staff, Mrs. Norwood, didn't give up early time for us, so all the coaching staff and the whole school community behind us, we couldn't be more appreciated.
Yeah, thank you everyone, and thank you everyone who came out to support us as well, and I just want to show the congratulations. Thank you.
I was just going to call out each players from the set by to come up and receive their runners-up medals.
Vanessa Scarborough, Mariah, Sari, Laura, Tiana, Lila Williamson, Erin, Zalia, Kyle, Sienna, Shelley,
Thank you, ladies. Let's give a round of applause for our runners-up who have said hi.
head coaches and to those investors. Yeah, that's it. And girls, just remember, job's not done yet. Let's keep going. Sharp, Talia, Tyra, Kiara, Nikki, Sia, Naz, Harlan, Danielle, Michaela, Lena, Dace, Marnie, Lila, Lily. And Lucky, Alice, Moy, and Maya. Okay, if we